come all the way to a trade show and a company is touting their new heaters. Connor, it's a heater, bro.
Yeah.
Why should I be excited about this?
Well, this is titanium, it's shatterproof, it is industrial, and it comes in a lot of sizes with the new IceCap heater controller. These are available in 50 watts, 100, 200, 300, all the way up to 400 watts at this time, and pairs well with this mount that looks very neat. This is you're holding the magnetic one right there.
Okay.
So we can hold 2 heaters on top of there, and that's also convenient with the new heater controller because it has 2 grounded AC outlets on it. So it really makes sense to have those redundant heaters on there. You always want to have a couple on there.
Okay.
So it keeps it organized, but if you're not a fan of the magnets in your tank, we also have a suction cup mount too, right?
Okay.
So you have that option. But they are shatterproof titanium IceCap heaters.
So this large one is 400 watts. I thought it would be bigger for 400 watts. That's pretty compact.
Quite
for 400.
compact.
And the little one this is a 50 or so?
That's a 50 watt,
That's a
correct.
50 watt.
Yep, still
Okay.
small.
So I can use your holder or not, but if the holder for 2, which everyone likes redundancy, it's important, I'd be a fan of 2 smaller heaters as opposed to 1 big one.
Yep.
Suction or magnetic, but then this controller, so tell me about this.
Exactly. So this is the new IceCap heater controller.
Okay.
It's got 2 grounded AC ports on it, so we can control 2 heaters up to the 400 watts each, right? So 800 watts max. It also has a built-in feed mode at 10, 30, and 60 minutes, as well as a delay. You know, we know that when we get in the sump and we start doing maintenance, you know, we may expose that heater to air, right? So we have that delay on there so it can wait that 5 minutes and then start to kick back on after that, absolutely. So a heater controller that's easy to use and easy to program.
Because a heater is dumb, it's just you plug it in and it runs, right?
Yep.
So we want to hook it up to a controller.
And make it as smart as we can.
Now,
right?
would it be a good idea to put that controller behind the hydros?
Absolutely. You always want to use a heater controller on hydros or any aquarium controller that manages that. You want to add as many layers of redundancy as you possibly can. So yes, absolutely, the IceCap heater controller would work great on hydros to add those layers and layers of redundancy.
Okay, so if we have a heater, unless we have an all-in-one tank, it's going to go in our sump. You guys have a new sump to go along with this stuff.
Yeah, we have the new IceCap sump.
All right, let's go take a look.
Yeah.
IceCap sump, but revised.
Yes, this is the 36 V2. So some small changes on this one. We've removed the freshwater reservoir in lieu of the external new reservoirs that we'll get to.
That's good.
A single 7-inch sock, right? A little bit bigger socks rather than smaller socks. And we can also fit the clear roller in there and a very large skimmer compartment for as big of a skimmer as you want, because the bigger the skimmer, the better for the most part. As well as we have included heater mounts. So if you didn't want to use the magnet mounts for the new IceCap heaters, you could simply mount them right there. And there are other gizmos and gadgets in here, such as probe holders to host 4 probes, as well as dosing line indents for cuts so you can organize your silicone dosing lines, as well as barb fittings down there so it directly injects into a high flowing area.
And your probe holder is mounted to the adjustable baffle, so your probes are always going to be in the water even if you adjust that water level.
Yep, it's never going to be exposed. So we really want to think about what a desirable sump would look like to most consumers, and this is that outcome. It's super clean and allows for a lot of the space to add the accessories that you want to add.
One thing that I run into with small sumps is they have 1-inch drain lines, which are death. They're loud, they don't flow a lot of water, but you guys have 3 1.5-inch lines.
Yep.
And a 1.5-inch return bulkhead as well.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that.
We wanted the flexibility. You know, with a sump, some people have a small sump, huge tank. Some people have a smaller tank, huge sump. We really wanted to provide that versatility with whatever you may be doing in your system. Obviously, you can step down off of that and have a smaller drain go into it. So complete flexibility when we rethought out this V2 line, and we wanted to provide something for the masses to use.
It's much easier to step down with a reducer than drill out or route out a hole in your sump to try to get for a bigger bulkhead.
Yep.
The other thing I like is that you guys removed the top-off reservoir. Now it's separate.
Yeah, so we have the new top-off reservoir. This is the 5-gallon. We also have a 10-gallon, possibly more sizes coming as well. Now, this is cool because it includes the float in there. Now, we can also put a hydro sensor on there so we stop it before it even gets that, but we do have this float included, as well as 2 1/4-inch lines, so we can pull out water for kalkwasser or other things that we may be using. Perhaps the Maven in the future with this small dosing line right there. So essentially Maven ready when we're going to need RO for that machine.
Okay, so built-in float 5 or 10 gallons
Yep.
for the top off. So Connor, we've got a large skimmer box section, which I love because I like to put media reactors next to my protein skimmer, but in this case, we could put an algae scrubber next to the skimmer too.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we maximize the compartment so we can add the gadgets and gizmos that we want to add. Right now, we have an algae turf scrubber in here, the IceCap algae small internal turf scrubber in here.
Okay.
So if we want a place to grow nuisance algae, let's do it in here rather than the display tank.
But can this thing be submerged?
This can be submerged, absolutely. This can be going all the way up to the line. It's not a fully submerged, but everything on here is absolutely waterproof. Okay. You know, up to the 9-inch mark. But yeah, there's nothing holding it back from being submerged at all.
Okay, so it's safe to go in your sump.
Correct.
And
we also have an external version too. If you don't want it in your sump, this is the INT version. We also have the EXT version, which is the external.
And we have room if we wanted to put an IceCap skimmer right next to it, or go single. Either way, you've got room to put the scrubber and the skimmer, or just a skimmer, or a big skimmer.
Exactly, or a big skimmer, exactly, to make sure that we get the maximum capability out of there. Exactly correct. And with this skimmer, we also have new tools and gadgets for that. We have the AC skimmer controller. So when you have a AC skimmer, this K3 is a DC skimmer, but when you have an AC skimmer, which means you simply plug it in and it turns on.
Right.
There's no controllability to it, but how can we take that and make it safer?
Well, wait a minute, that means I gotta swap out the pump.
Not necessarily. You can keep that pump. Keep that pump and allow other gadgets to do that work for you. So with something simple like the AC skimmer controller, we have a single grounded outlet, so we can plug that that skimmer that just has a pump right into here, and we can start to control it. How do we control it? Well, first of all, for safety, we have a float level sensor, right? So if that skimmer goes full, we can just cut off power. Furthermore, we have a 5-minute delay on there, so we can delay out and press that button so it doesn't come on and overflow after a water change perhaps. And furthermore, we have a 10-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute feed mode. So if you want to do a quick feeding, just press the feed button and the skimmer will shut off during that time.
And that'll work with any AC skimmer pump.
That'll work with any AC skimmer pump, yep. Makes it really easy. And furthermore, we even have additional IceCap accessories for skimmers. We have small, large, and hang-on back waste containers.
Hang-on back waste container.
Hang-on back waste. This is not the hang-on back version. This is the small version, but we do have hang-on back and the large version as well. So what this does is basically it extends your skimmer cup.
Yeah.
You know, we can only get so much out of here, but if you are a traveler, if you're not looking at your tank as much, or perhaps the smell is getting to certain people, we can put scent diffusers in there, as well as have a chamber that skimmer skimmate to fill up in here. And we also have a float valve. Right, that can be controlled with the skimmer output, but you can also have this be controlled with hydros.
So if it gets full, it cuts it off.
If it gets full, it cuts it off.
But can you put essential oils in here, Connor, to make your tank an experience from a scent standpoint?
You can do anything, but I don't recommend everything.
This is a small size, is there a larger size?
Yes, we have a larger size as well, and then we have a hang-on back size additional.